Hi boys and girls, and welcome to another maths session. I am Erica Allen Charles, and today we're going to have some fun with math. Measurement, but more specifically, linear measurement. Do you know what that means? We are going to talk about measuring using lengths, different lengths. What instruments do we use for measuring lengths? Let's see. I have a couple here. The ruler, meter rule. Some people even use a tape measure. But I want to tell you something. The standard unit that we use for measuring length is the meter. We have shorter lengths and we have longer lengths. The shorter lengths would be the millimeter and the centimeter. The larger length would be the kilometer. So let's talk a little bit about that now. You know, when you want to measure very, very tiny lengths, like the top of a pinhead, you would use the millimeter. The centimeter would be used if you want to measure the length of your copybook. And the meter, if you want to measure the height of a door. The kilometer is used for very long distances. So for instance, if you were to measure from San Fernando to Port of Spain. Okay, so let's get into it now. So what I am going to do is to give you different lengths and you will tell me what unit we should use for that. Let's go. My goodness. What unit would we use to measure the length of a car? The millimeter? Nah, that's too tiny. The centimeter? What about the meter? I think that will work very, very well. So we'd use the meter. I can use M for meter. Let's try another one. Now we're looking at the length of a cell phone. What unit would we use to measure the length of a cell phone? I think the centimeter, because the kilometer would be too long. I know you know this one. The distance from Port of Spain to Arima. Yes, the kilometer, correct, because that is a very long distance. The length of a pencil point. What would you use for that one? The meter? I think the millimeter. Oh yes, because it's very, very small. Okay, so now we know about the 4 different lengths. I want you to bear that in mind as we continue with today's lesson. Boys and girls, I want to challenge you to a question. It entails measuring using your ruler, but I will use my meter rule here. All right, let's look on the board. What is the length of the pencil shown? If you notice very carefully, we have a meter rule under and we have the pencil at the top. We have to know the length of that pencil. I know some of you would say that the pencil is around 10 centimeters or so. Let's look very carefully. If you notice where the end of the pencil is, I'm going to mark it off now. It starts at this point here. Let's go to the other end. Now, let me teach you something. Length is not a point. It's a distance from one point to the next. Bear that in mind as we go to count now the number of centimeters here. So you're going to start at this point here and we're going straight down. Count with me now. Between every number, that will be 1 centimeter. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you look very carefully, the point is coming down midway between these two numbers here. So this will be half of a centimeter. So in truth and in fact, the length of this pencil is 4.5 centimeters. We have to be absolutely clear about this. Remember, you're not starting from zero. Look at where your starting point is. Look at where your ending point is. And remember to measure going straight across the ruler here. Are you seeing it? Some people may say this another way. Instead of saying 4.5 centimeters, we can say 4.5 centimeters, because 1/2 is also equal to 0.5. Boys and girls, I want to introduce you to something called a conversion table. Come with me to the board now. If you look at this table very carefully, you will see 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. 1 meter is also equal to 1,000 millimeters, and 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. I want you to bear this in mind, because we are going to use this information here to do what I'm going to call conversion, changing from one unit to another. All right, are you ready to do the first one? Let's go. Read with me now. Change 8 meters to centimeters. Let's go back to the table. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So if 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, can we not assume or say that 8 meters will be 800 centimeters? 108 times? 8 meters is equal to 800 centimeters. Are you with me now? All right, let's look at this one. Change 13 kilometers to meters. Let's go back to the conversion table. 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. I know you're thinking, if 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters, then 13 kilometers will be equal to how many meters? I know you have it. I know you have it. It's right there. You are so correct. 13,000. So far, so good. Let's try another one. Okay, now let's look at the third problem. It's a little bit tricky, so stay with me now. Change 4.8 centimeters to millimeters. This one is a decimal. What are we going to do? Let's go back to the conversion table. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. Let's go. The 4 represents the whole. So we can say the 4 centimeters will give us 40 millimeters. This is the tricky part here. This 0.8, you can see it on a ruler. I'm going to draw it out for you to see now. Between 0 and 1, so I'm going to identify 0.8 for you now. Count with me now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you notice very carefully, this represents the 8 millimeters. So I'm going to put that here now, which gives us 48 millimeters. Do you have it? Excellent. Now, I want you to look at these 3 problems. What if I did not show you the conversion table? What if you did not have that to use? Could we come up with a rule to change from one unit to the next? First, look with me. Change 8 meters to centimeters. Which one is larger? Yes, the meters. Change 13 kilometers to meters. Which one is larger? Yes, the kilometers. Finally, change 4.8 centimeters to millimeters. Which one is larger? Yes, the centimeters. So all of them have the larger unit first to be changed to the smaller unit. What can we do? Remember, you cannot use the conversion table. Look carefully now. I'm hearing the answer. I am hearing the answer. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. We know that is a fact. 8 meters. How do we change 8 meters without using the board? Well, we know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Instead of saying 108 times, guess what? Can we now multiply the 8 by 100? Yes, we can. And there you get your 800 centimeters. Let's try it with the next one. 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. What about 13 kilometers? Are you going to count 1,013 times? We did that already. What can we do? There you have it. We are going to multiply our 13 by 1,000. Are you seeing it now? Yes, you are. And finally, 4.8 centimeters to millimeters. What do we know? 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. 4.8 centimeters now. Tricky one, a tricky one. We know our answer is 48 millimeters. How do we get that? Can you remember how to multiply a decimal by 10? I'm certain you do. When we multiply a decimal by 10, what do? We shift the point 1 place to the right. There we have it, 48 millimeters. So boys and girls, what we are seeing here is when we are changing a larger unit to a smaller unit, we can multiply. Okay, boys and girls, now we are going to do something a little bit different. Look at the board with me. All right. Now, let's read. Change 3,000 meters to kilometers. Let's go back to the table. If you notice, 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters, but I have it back to front this time. All right? So in other words, we can say 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer. It's the same thing. It's the very same thing. So if 1,000 meters is equal to 1 kilometer, then 3,000 meters will give me how many kilometers? 3 kilometers. Let's do another one. Let's go back to the conversion table. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. We can reverse this as I said. 100 centimeters is also equal to 1 meter. So, if 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter, how many meters will we be able to get from 700 centimeters? Ah, you are right. 7 meters. And we'll do one more. All right. Change 456 centimeters to meters. Similar to number 2, we are looking at 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, and when we reverse it, 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. 456 centimeters to meters. Interesting. This is a challenging one. What are we going to get? If you look very carefully, we can separate this number into 2 parts. Can we not pull out the 400 and keep it apart from the 56? Yes. So we can say that the 400 centimeters will give us 4 meters. And the 56 centimeters, it's less than 100. So that will remain as centimeters, won't it? Interesting, isn't it? If we were to change this to a decimal, I wonder what we would do. 56 centimeters is less than 100. So we can say 56 divided by 100 because there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So you can either get one out of 2 things. You can get 56 over 100, or you can change it to a decimal where you will get 0.56. We can say this can also be written as 4.56. 4.56 meters. It's a little bit ticklish, but I know that you know your decimals. You just have to pay careful attention. Moving on. What if I did not use the conversion table? How can I change 3,000 meters and get it to 3 kilometers without using the conversion table? Likewise, how can I change 700 centimeters to meters without using the conversion table? Let's take them one at a time. Let's look at the first one. What can I do? What can I use? What information do I have? Well, we know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters, correct? And we can take the 3,000 meters and do something with it. What do you think we can do? Yes, we can divide the 3,000 by the 1,000 meters. Let's go ahead. $3,000 divided by 1,000. Our answer is 3 kilometers. Let's look at the next one. Change 700 centimeters to meters. What do we know? We know that 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. What about the 700 centimeters? How are we going to get the 7 meters? Yes, we are going to divide. Let's go. So 700 centimeters is equal to 7 meters. Children, are we seeing a pattern? Are we seeing a pattern? What did we see here today? We realized that we're changing now from a smaller unit to a larger unit, meters to kilometers, centimeters to meters, smaller unit to a large unit. So now we are doing the reverse. When we are changing from a smaller unit to a larger unit, we now divide. Boys and girls, can I challenge you now? I am going to give you a word problem. Let's see if we can solve this together. Come with me to the board now. Joe traveled 3.85 kilometers. How many meters did he travel? Are you thinking? Let's look at the two units that we are comparing. Kilometers and meters. Can you remember how many meters there are in a kilometer? Yes, 1,000. So let's always start with the information that we know. Now, we have to determine 3.85 kilometers. How do we know how many meters there are? Let's put it down. Can you remember what we did before? Let's look at the problem. Is this a larger unit to a smaller unit? Or is it a smaller unit to a larger unit? You are right. We are changing from a larger unit to a smaller unit. So what must we do? We multiply. Excellent. So we're going to multiply to get the number of meters in 3.85 kilometers. Now, can you remember how to multiply a decimal by 1,000? I'm sure you do. Remember, we look for the decimal point and we shift it 3 places to the right. Which direction? To the right, because we are multiplying. Let's go. Now look at this problem here. 1, 2. One more spot. But guess what? There is no number there. Are we going to leave it like that? Oh no. We have our placeholder, our 0. So in truth and in fact, 3.85 is equal to 3,850 meters. Let's go back to the question. Joe traveled 3.85 kilometers. How many meters did he travel? Joe traveled 3,850 meters. Let's look at this question now. It's a little bit different from the other one. Let's see. Read with me now. How many centimeters are there in 5.6 millimeters? Don't get confused. The same principle we applied before, we will apply now. Not because you're seeing a decimal means that you should get confused. Let's go. How many centimeters are there in 5.6 millimeters? Now, the question we want to ask ourselves is this. Are we changing from a smaller unit to a larger unit, or a larger unit to a smaller unit? Let's see. Well, we are given the 5.6 millimeters, and we are to change or convert to centimeters. So we are saying that we are changing from a smaller unit to a larger unit. The question is, what do we do? Can you remember what to do? What do we do when we change from a smaller unit to a larger unit? Do we multiply? No. This time we do the opposite. We divide. When we are changing from a smaller unit to a large unit, we must now divide. Now the question is, divide by what? How many millimeters are there in a centimeter? The answer is 10. So we divide by 10. So far, so good? Wonderful. How do we divide by 10 using a decimal? Can you remember what to do? When we multiplied using the decimal before, we shifted the decimal point to the right. For division, what should we do? Yes, we are now going to the left. Now, since we are dividing by 10, we shift one place to the left. Do it with me now. So we end up with 0.56. Nothing is wrong with that, but I know that some of you feel more comfortable putting the 0 for the ones. So this is also correct. Are you with me? So the answer is 0.56. So when we answer the question, how many centimeters are there in 5.6 millimeters, we are realizing our answer is 0.56 centimeters. Remember, boys and girls, when we are converting from a larger unit to a smaller unit, we multiply. Likewise, when we are converting from a smaller unit to a larger unit, we must divide. As long as you remember that, I am telling you, you will be able to handle these problems well. Boys and girls, we are going to go one step further. We are now going to look at perimeter. Perimeter refers to the distance around any object. You can use string, you can use a ruler, you can use anything to measure perimeter, but at this point in time, I am going to show you it with string. Work with me now. I'm just going to put the tape to hold it in place. All around the edge. That's what we're looking at with perimeter. The edge. Going straight down until the string meets here. Now that the two ends have met, I am going to cut it. After cutting it, I am going to use my meter rule to see the perimeter of my board. I wonder if any of you could guess what length it is. Some of you may be very close, you know. Let's see. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the edge of my string to the edge of the meter rule. I have reached 100. So I have to start all over again. 100. I'm going to put my mark at the end here, and I'm going to start at the beginning again. It stopped at 22. So 100, add the 22, will give me 122 centimeters. Now, I know some of you are already converting that. 122 centimeters will also give me 1 meter, 22 centimeters. I know you're that good. Now, we can find the perimeter of any plane shape. We can use, as I said, the string. We can use a ruler. We can use instruments that have the measurement. You have different shapes, triangles, squares, rectangles, octagons, any shape that you like. You can find the perimeter of it. Just remembering that the perimeter is the distance around. Now, what we are going to do, we are going to look at the perimeter of squares and rectangles. First, we are going to look at the perimeter of squares. If you look on the board, you will see that I have 3 squares there. First and foremost, what information do I need to have? I need to know the properties of a square. What do you know about a square that will be important in getting the perimeter? I know some of you are already working it out. Yes, a square has 4 equal sides. Excellent, children, excellent. So that if I know the length of one side, can I get the perimeter? I think so. I know that by the time I go on this board, some of you would have already worked out the perimeters of all 3 squares. No problem. I'm going on the board now. Square A. If the length of one side is 5 centimeters, then we can say 5 centimeters here, 5 centimeters here, and 5 centimeters here. Can we not? Let's write that down. What will be the total perimeter? 5 at 5 at 5 at 5 will give me what? 20 centimeters. Let's put the answer down. Let's look at square B. I know some of you already have the answer, but that's okay. Eight centimeters, let's follow the pattern. There are 4 equal sides. So, what are we going to do? We are going to add up all 4 sides. 8 at 8 at 8 at 8 will give us what? 32 centimeters. And last but not least, square C. What is the length of one side? 10 centimeters. I know you have the answer, you know. I'm seeing it on your faces. Yes, 10 at 10 at 10 at 10 will give us 40 centimeters. Wonderful job. Excellent. Question: what if I were to find the perimeter of these squares without adding like this? I already know the perimeter of square A is 20 centimeters, the perimeter of square B is 32 centimeters, the perimeter of square C is 40 centimeters by adding the 4 lengths. I'm going to put up some information on the table now. Look at me. Right. Square A, square B, square C. What is the length of one side of square A? 5 centimeters. After adding all the sides, what is its perimeter? 20 centimeters. Likewise, square B, the length of one side, 8 centimeters. Its perimeter, 32 centimeters. And finally, square C, length of one side, 10 centimeters. Its perimeter, 40 centimeters. Without adding each side, what can we do to get the perimeter? Look at the pattern. 5 centimeters, perimeter 20 centimeters. Side 8 centimeters, perimeter 32 centimeters. Side 10 centimeters, perimeter 40 centimeters. Can we apply the same rule to all 3 to get a pattern? Look carefully. Are you seeing it? I am. What if we say we multiply the side by 4? If we multiply the side by 4, will we get the perimeter? Let's try it. 5 centimeters multiplied by 4 will give us what? 20 centimeters. 8 centimeters multiplied by 4 will give us what? 32 centimeters. 10 centimeters multiplied by 4 will give us what? 40 centimeters. So guess what? We are realizing that in order to find the perimeter of a square, we can use 2 methods. What was method 1? On this side here, where we added side, add side, add side, add side. And also we can say side multiplied by 4. Either one is correct. You are free to use either one because you will be correct. Let's write it down now. As I said, side, add side, add side, add side, or side multiplied by 4. Remember, children, either one can be applied. Now that you've understood that, boys and girls, the next time we will look at the perimeter of rectangles. What I want you to do for homework is to go and research so that when we meet again, you will know.